dear students. Hope you are fine with the blessings of God Almighty, and very warm welcome after summer vacations. Here we are going to start our lesson right from where we left. Okay. In this content, we have read so far The World in a War and Stopping by Woods before vacations. So now we have selected Ravinson Crusoe, which is our lesson number 3 for studying after vacations. Before proceeding towards the lesson, I want to give you a little introduction about Ravinson Crusoe, as it shows from the name of the lesson. Students, it is basically a lesson based on a novel, right? But this is here, it's a small extract of that novel. It is not the full story. It is, you can say, a piece of that novel. So Ravinson Crusoe is a character, you can say a protagonist. You can call him a protagonist of that novel, of that story. And what is the meaning of protagonist? Protagonist is always a leading character or one of the major characters in the play, film or novel, or you can say in short, a hero of that novel or that story. So you can say that Ravinson Crusoe is an adventure story and it is also a moral tale. And Ravinson Crusoe is a novel which is written by an English author, Daniel Defoe. So we will read about the Ravinson Crusoe here, that he was the son of a merchant in a town and his father was always there to encourage him to become a lawyer or to get an education in the field of law. But Ravinson Crusoe was not interested in that field and he wanted to be an explorer or he wanted to be a sailor. So there he started his journey and there he faced shipwrecked. Shipwrecked is actually, you can say, an accident in which a ship is destroyed or sink at sea by hitting rocks, right? So the central message or the basic theme of Ravinson Crusoe, you can say, is survival. What is that? Survival is the basic theme of Ravinson Crusoe story. Why? Because he didn't let himself to die. Rather, he quickly learns to be open to discover the place where he was at that moment, which was the island, right? At first, he found that island barren and even inhospitable and even threatening like a prison. But over the time, he comes to realize that it is his home. Okay, and he explores that island and then he earns to live in harmony with it. So Ravinson Crusoe is the protagonist and at the same time a narrator of that story. And who is the narrator? Narrator is a person who tells the story in his words, right? So you can say that he was the only survivor and who survived through the combination of his common sense and his true determination. Got it? He learns in that island that how to overcome the obstacles and how to control the environment. Even he built a house for himself there. He suffers a hard fate and still he finds prosperity for himself. So here we start reading. That was all about the introduction. And now we are going to start reading about Ravinson Crusoe. So please keep your pencils in your hands to underline the hard words, right? Ravinson Crusoe is the name of a book by Daniel Defoe. And Daniel Defoe was born in 1660. His father was a butcher and Daniel Defoe worked at a number of trades before he started to write. At the age of 40, he wrote poems and occasionally wrote criticism of the government. Sometimes he was sent to prison. Why do he sent to prison? Why? When somebody will write criticism against the government, it will happen, right? And this paragraph is all about the writer of the Ravinson Crusoe, okay? When he was nearly 60, he wrote the story of Ravinson Crusoe. It was a great success and has been popular with children ever since. It is the first great English novel. In this short piece from the book, Robinson Crusoe tells us how he became shipwrecked. What? Underline the word shipwrecked. As I told you before, shipwrecked means an accident in which a ship is destroyed or sink at sea by hitting rock. So, this paragraph was all about the writer of Robinson Crusoe. We started off on our voyage. Voyage means a journey by sea or air in good weather. Although it was very hot. Who is telling this story? What did I tell you? Who was the narrator of the story? Robinson Crusoe himself. After about 12 days, however, a violent tornado came from the north. Underline the word tornado. Tornado means a windstorm. 2 members of the crew were washed overboard. What is the meaning of this line? They washed overboard. Overboard means over the side of a ship and into the water, right? They sank. And after a day or two, the ship began to leak. We changed our course and sailed out of the hurricane. Underline the word course. Course means route. Course means route. Underline the word hurricane. Hurricane means a severe tropical storm. Hurricane and tornado both are the kinds of storms. But the next day, a second terrible storm attacked us. We could see the shore of some unknown land, but the sea was very rough. The rain dashed down and we, underline the word dashed. Dashed means hurry away or depart hastily. Come to the next page. Page number 29. The rain was dashed down and we were afraid of approach close to the land. Our only hope was to clamber into a small boat and try to row to the shore. So far, Robinson Crusoe has told us that how they faced tornado and how they faced windstorm and hurricane and rain during their voyage. And their only hope was to use the clamber into a small boat. You know that all big ships have small boats in them that in case of emergency they can travel through it to save themselves. 4 of us managed to get the boat into the sea and we jumped into it. We rowed with all our might, but the waves were like mountains. They said that they were happy initially because they thought that they could survive. But the waves, they were more high like mountains. We struggled on, but at last a gigantic wave. Underline the word gigantic. Gigantic means very large, huge or enormous. A gigantic wave greater than all the others, greater than all the other waves, hurled our little boat into the air and it sank beneath us. You can imagine if in this kind of severe storms a big ship is shipwrecked, then how can a small boat can exist over there? It was very difficult. I am a good swimmer. Who was a good swimmer? Robinson Crusoe. And for an hour and a half, I battled in that stormy sea. As I could sigh of the cost, a huge wave would lift me up and carry me out of the sea again. This is how he struggled. He was a swimmer, but he is telling that he was even not capable enough to stand in front of the stormy sea. Right? I tried to reach the shore again and again, and I was thrown away by the raging seas again and again. Underline the word raging. Raging means angry or violent. Raging sea was pulling him or pushing him again and again and throwing him out. At last, I was hurled towards the shore and fell down exhausted on the sand. So it was you can say, it was not his will. It was all about the waves that they hurled him towards the shore, and he fell down on the sand. Finally, he was on the shore. The night was dark without a star in the sky, and I knew that lying on the sand would be dangerous because of animals. I crawled away from the sea as fast as I could, and I came to some bushes and trees. I didn't know what wild animals there would be in the forest. Can you see in the picture? This is how he said that the big waves hurled him towards the shore and he fell down exhausted on the sand. Even this picture is depicting how much exhausted he is, isn't it? Isn't he bravo? So he said that I didn't know what wild animals there would be in the forest. So I climbed up one of the trees and made myself comfortable between two great branches. There I slept the night as well as I could. So far we have read that how big was the struggle of that man. How did he struggle to reach to the shore? And he was the only survivor among lots of people. They couldn't survive. But he was really, you can say, a warrior, a true warrior, that he fought a lot to the circumstances which he was facing. So, what happened? He could find himself on a shore, and he didn't know so far that he was on an island. Okay, so please mention today's date here. Tomorrow we will start reading right from here. Till then, stay blessed and goodbye.